let's make a Flappy Bird. The first thing I'm gonna do is to put the game screen here. Then I'm gonna create a square, call it player. Then I'm gonna change the color of the player and add a script called player. First thing we want to do is to add some new variables. The serialized field, float, jump, power. Then we want a serialized field key code, jump key code. Then we want a private rigid body 2D, call it RB. In start we want to type RB equals get component rigid body 2D. And in update want to check for our input, so get key down, jump key code. Then when that's now we want to make the player jump, so we're going to say rb.velocity equals new vector2 jump power. So now our player will actually jump. So let's test that out. First, what we need to do is to add a rigid body. Then we want to add a jump power of maybe 7. And then add a key. And then let's test this out. Yeah, we can jump. Let's go back to our player script. We want to add a tilt to the bird when it's falling down. So how we do that is we check if we are falling. So if our velocity is less than 0. And if that's true, we want to rotate the player. You can just do something like this, transform, rotate, then we're just gonna put in something like this. So now when we are falling, the player game object will rotate downwards. It looks like he's falling. And if the player isn't falling, we just want to reset the rotation of the player. Let's test this out. Yep. Now when we are falling, a nice little animation showing. So let's now add a floor and a roof. The player can't just fly away. So add a roof. We're gonna make this wrong. Yeah. And just gonna put it above him. Like that. And then we want to have a ground or a floor. We're gonna put this here. We can change this to green like this. Let's just change the player's color to yellow. So now player, we need to add some box colliders to them, and then we want to add a box collider to the player also. So now if we try this, we can see that the bird, he can't go outside. We also want to make so if the player falls on the ground, he will die. So let's make a new script and call it something like def box maybe. and open it in Visual Studio. In the script, we want to first add a on the trigger enter 2D. Then want to check if the collision is actually the player. Then we need to use the scene management. And then we want to store the current scene in a variable. And then we want to load the current scene. And back in Unity, we want to set our ground collisions to trigger. And now if we test this out, you can see that the level resets when we touch the ground, but not the roof. So now we want to create the pipes. We're gonna create something like this, 2 squares. Something like that, and then just want to make a game object called pipe. We're gonna put those squares in there. We're gonna color them green, then put box colliders on them and click this trigger, is trigger. Then we want to put a script on the pipe, call it pipe. And open it in Visual Studio. So the first thing we want is a float move speed. Then we want a private rigid body. Then in start we want to set the rigid body. Then in update we want to make the pipe move. And then we want to destroy the game object after 20 seconds. Back in Unity, we can add some movement speed. Then we add a rigid body and set the gravity scale to 0. Then we can add a def box script to the pipe and then test this out.
Shout out for all my fans in Hollywood. Shout out for all my fans in Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Glendale, Van Nuys, all them rich motherfuckers at Rich Game. We doing it big.
Now we want to create the pipe spawner. Make the pipes a prefab. This means that we can spawn them in whenever we want. Let's remove all of the pipes, and then we want to add a new game object. Call it pipe spawner. Reset the transform. Set the X something like 10, maybe 12. Then we want to add a pipe spawner script and open it in Visual Studio. So in here we want to have a serialized field, game object, pipe prefab. Then we want to have a serialized field, float max time between pipes, to have a serialized field, float in time between pipes. Then we want to have a private float time between counter. We want to spawn the pipes at random times, and to do that we want to add a update. here we want to check if the time between counter is less or equal to 0. If that's true, to set the time between counter equal to random dot range. Set it in the time between pipes and max. Like that. Then we want to have a vector 2, call it spawn position, make it equal to vector 2, transform dot position dot x. Then we want to have a transform dot position dot y. Then we want to add a random dot range 1 to 5. This will make the pipe spawn at different heights. If we go back into Unity here, you can see that the pipes, they will spawn at different heights like this. So up here is 8, down here is 1. I actually put in here 8 and then make it something like 2 here again. And now we want to clone the pipes. So we want to have a game object dot pipe copy equals instance sheet. So spawn pipe prefab. Then we want to set the pipe prefabs pipe copies. Pipe with transform dot position. Make it equal our spawn position. And the last thing we'll do is just to put an else here and put in the time between counter minus equal time delta time. That should be it. Test this out. On the pipe spawner to put in our prefab. Then we want to put in a max time between pipes and add something like 4. Then a minimal time, something like 2. Yeah, that should be good. Now our game will actually work. Now pipes will spawn in at different rates. And you can actually play the game. And if we hit the pipes, we'll reset. And if we hit the ground, the game will reset. Of course, you can add more to this project. This is just more of a test. But like and subscribe if you like the video.